Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about how I got two Honda Del Sols and not just one. So pretty much, I'm going to give you the backstory on this car and then the other one that I have that is sadly wrecked. I did not wreck it. I'm going to get to that here in a minute. So pretty much what happened was my grandparents bought the original one that I grew up in, which this is gonna be like kind of why I like this car as much as I do. But my grandparents bought, it was a 93 Honda Del Sol. This one's a 95. The 93 they bought in 93, and my grandma drove it back and forth to work every day and all that, and then she had a deer with it. They got that fixed, and there wasn't really much, damage to it at that point. And then fast forward to like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe like 3 or 4. I don't know if it's exactly 5, but somewhere along there, they found someone to repaint it for pretty cheap. Pretty cheap, I mean $3,000 for a car this size, which for around here that's pretty cheap. But anyway, get it repainted. They bring it home. They had it home for like probably about 2-3 months, and it was sitting in the garage for that amount of time. And my grandma's sister got really sick, and she was in the hospital a couple towns over from where I'm at. And her nephew were in the car, and they were driving, and someone cut them off, and she ended up taking the 93 into a guardrail, flipped around, hit the guardrail on the other side of the car. One day I'll take you out to see that car. They're all right. The car actually kept going down the highway after they hit it. I mean, that car would probably still fire up today if we didn't completely strip it down to fix up this one a little more. And what I wish I would have done is fix up that one with this stuff's parts, but with this car's parts. But anyway, what ended up happening, she kept driving it to where her sister was, and they called my uncle, who came with a flatbed trailer and towed it back to where I live. And then we took it out to his ranch, and that is where the car sits today. Hasn't moved in probably about 3 years. Motor has about 250,000 on it, 252 I think. It is the VTEC model of that car. It's the bigger engine. It was an SI. This one's just the regular Del Sol. I don't really know what I think it's a S. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the 93 was an SI. This one's just like the S. It's got the 1.5. It's just the little, I don't know, it's doesn't have as much fancy stuff as it. This one don't have power mirrors, that one did, and all that kind of stuff. But then, so that one got wrecked, and we put it out there for that amount of time. And then me and my mother were driving to work one day, and I looked over in Walmart's parking lot and found this car sitting there. We showed my grandma it, and then they went down the same day, bought the car. This car didn't have power steering when they bought it, so they took the power steering out of the SI, which was the 93, put it in this one, the 95. And I really wish they wouldn't have done that, because it kind of messed with the steering a little too much. I don't like the way that the steering is now, but I mean, I've learned to deal with it, and it actually isn't as bad as it once was. Well, I've gotten used to it. It's still bad, but I can drive it on the highway. Before, when I first got it, I couldn't keep it straight going anywhere. The steering is so loose in this car, it's not even funny. But anyway, they were going to put the cruise control out of that car in here, but then they'd have to change the ECM and all that, so they didn't end up doing that. But about a year went by. She didn't drive this car much because I think she hasn't told me, but I have a slight what am I trying? I have a feeling it's because she was scared to drive it because of what happened with her old one. She didn't want it to happen again. So they decided to sell this car, and they were going to sell it online. I think they were asking a little too much, but you know how if you ask more, you know, you can always go down. Well, they were asking for $4,000 for this car, which actually, this car, I'll clean it up and actually show you, but this car is actually like really nice on the inside, and it's nice on the outside. It's just got some, you know, clear coat that's falling off. It's not bad, but there's a couple spots, and the back bumper's not very nice, but where was I at? Yeah, so they were selling this car, and they bought this car for the owners of the car before them were asking for it, and they got it for $3,500. Put about $2,500 into it, and I offered them $2,500 for the car, and they accepted it. So I gave them $2,500 for the car, and now I own the car. And with that, I also bought the old car as a parts car for this car, and so now I own two Honda Del Sols. One's wrecked, and one I drive. Maybe one day, maybe way down the road, maybe I might end up taking this one and trying to fix the old one, just because I like this one, but I want to drive the old one because the old one is like where all the memories are and stuff. Like, they had that car as long as I've been around, and I remember, you know, I thought that the car was the coolest thing in the world because the roof would come off. I mean, and we'd drive around all the time in it. So I mean, that car's got some sentimental value to it, and that's kind of why I wanted this one, was to drive it. But you know, now that I've been driving it, I've kind of wondered, you know, why exactly I wanted this one, which I want this one, don't get me wrong. I'm very happy I have this car, but I want the old one. I want the old one to drive again, and I think it'd make her happy to see it back on the road. So that is my goal, is to get that one running and driving, and maybe possibly giving it back to her. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it's this whole story on the car, and the car's name was Ricky Racer, and one day I'll show you. I carry around the plate that was on the front of the old car. It's in the trunk of this one, but I carry that one around with me all the time, just to kind of have a piece of the old car in here, which there's a lot of the old car in here. With about half a year ago, right before winter, this car, the driving down the road, like, shut off, and the dash started smoking. Well, it ended up being the ignition switch. I took the ignition switch out of the old car, put it in here, it's fine. So I mean, I like that I have two of them. You know, it kind of saves a lot of money on parts, and I have every interior piece that I'd ever need. So that's kind of why I went with painting all this stuff red and doing the door panels and stuff, because if I didn't like it, I could just swap it out with the old stuff or bring this back to black. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Plans for this car now are maybe rip the dash out of the old car, put it in here, because I don't like that it's got a passenger airbag. Maybe take the steering wheel out of here, put a racing, like, removable steering wheel in. I want to do a turbo kit to this. I think that'd be pretty cool. Maybe do an engine swap with the old one, but this one has less miles, so maybe just wait until this one dies and then put that one in here. But I think a turbo on this car would be pretty fun. Let me know what you guys think about that. I also, I'm not going to tell you that just yet, but I think that'll be pretty cool, what I want to do to it. But I don't really know what else there is to say in this video, really. This is now my longest video I've ever made, so let me know what you guys think. I definitely want to do more of these story time type deals, and pretty soon we'll move away from this and we'll look at my truck. I have a 92 Chevy Silverado, and maybe feature my mom's truck. It's a 97 Silverado, or Cheyenne, it is in mint condition. She still has the window sticker from when it was new, so we'll see. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. It really does mean a lot to me. And if you're new here, please subscribe and like, comment, and let me know what you guys want to see. Thank you for watching this. See you in the next one.